Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, Andy. Yeah, it's going to be more than that. And we're going to bring in our special news correspondent, John Novosad, to settle an important debate that we've been having.
Welcome back, John Novosad.
All right. Thank you.
And while Hippie Man walks on, John Novosad, Kristen, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you.
So people have been talking about who is smarter, dogs or cats. And we know that you spent a lot of time researching this, so we were wanting you to settle it once and for all.
All right. I will help on this this question, and I have. I've done a lot of research. When I was married for almost 11 years, and we had dogs, cats, we had rabbits. I'll tell you, rabbits are not smarter than either dogs or cats. No offense to rabbits, but I'm just saying.
None taken.
We were always on the side of the farmer when we read Watership Down in my house.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just me in my house, and you can do whatever you want.
You can do
not
whatever
a call
you
to
want.
action to rope rabbits.
Welcome to Daniel watching the show.
But when I was married, and after I got divorced after those 11 years, but especially during those 11 years, I had 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I ran a series of tests on these cats and dogs.
Okay.
And the cats did better on the written exam portion, but the dogs just killed it on the oral exams. So
yes, you
very
just put
verbal,
put a little peanut butter on the test paper,
yeah.
and the dog will just go crazy on it. I've seen it happen.
you have, A, B, C, or D, and you put a little peanut butter on each one, and that dog will lick the right answer.
And that's why we bring you in. These are facts and not opinions.
This isn't fake news.
This is just how it works.
We are doing it right. Thank you.
Thank you to Dave watching the show. John, what do you think? If dogs, what would be a scarier film? A Planet of the Apes style movie where dogs have taken us over, or cats?
I think, I would go with cats, because cats, dogs, dogs would be bad if they decided they wanted to turn on us. But the thing about cats is, like, they're small, they can hide, they can jump from roofs and stuff like that. Dogs, you would at least know, and you'd be like, all right, here comes a dog.
Yeah,
it's like you're fighting a cow versus a cheetah.
Hearts on sleeves. Those are dogs, guys. And what an incredible segue. John, we're going to ask you to stay with us for this segment.
Oh, sure.
It is Jaguar Fashion Day.
Jaguar fashion.
Well, I understand why you asked me.
And obviously, once you get that sort of style monger into the studio, you're not going to let him leave before we talk about a little thing called dog fashion, because that's what we're talking about.
We're talking
fashion
about
for dogs.
Animals
fashion.
for clothing. John, what's your favorite dog clothing, would you say?
I'm a big fan of the 4 booties.
Oh,
yes.
Yes,
you want to see
better
some...
than watching a dog just remove all of an animal's equilibrium. That's what I've always said is the funniest form of comedy.
And there's Jay's little dog, Cassandra.
I love Cassandra.
She's a dog.
Pomeranian mix.
Yep, and this is me when I dressed her in for Mardi Gras last year. Took her down to New Orleans. She won the dog beauty fair. It was really
You
amazing.
haven't lived till you see Cassandra play a tuba on Bourbon Street.
That is right. She did get pretty drunk that night, though, and wound up making a bit of a fool of herself.
She got a lot of beads, I heard.
A lot of beads. Well, she has those 6 teeth.
She shows those booties.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this.
Hey, check these out. If she's walking around like this.
I've got some Ugg boots and I'm a dog.
That is exactly what's happening there. And just quick shout out to Cassandra. If you're watching, how'd you turn the TV on? You're a dog. It's crazy.
John, when you wake up in the morning and you see a dog with a sweater on in the middle of summer, do you just want to lose it?
Yeah, I do. And I'm also like, what is that dog with the sweater doing in my apartment? That's...
And you just woke it up, and you're still reeling from the night before, and then here's a sweater dog staring you right in the face.
And then I go, hey, listen, Rover, first of all, it's not that cold in here, so how about getting rid of the sweater?
Yep.
And then maybe I'll take you for a walk.
That's exactly. And then you had that dog for 15 more years.
That's right.
So
now, when
wild
you're
about
saying
it.
"Hey Rover," is that like pejorative, or is that actually the dog's name? Like,
No.
"Hey Rex."
Yeah.
No,
Like, are
because-
you giving him the business,
No.
or is it really Rover?
It said Rover on his sweater.
Okay.
So I figured that was it, and then he's gone by that ever since. So.
So I do the same thing with Andy. I'm like, hey, TV host, all dismissively. That's what I like.
Caroline is loving the show. She said this is like taking drugs without actually taking the drugs. And then and Michelle would like to know, if you were in New Orleans for the Mardi Gras, did you put your dog Cassandra in the Barkus parade?
Of course.
That's what we're talking about, Michelle.
They hit us up. That's actually why we were there. They called me and they said, Jay, we've seen Cassandra on social media at Cassandra Dog Beauty on Instagram. Check it out. Dog. Anyway, John, thanks for talking to us about
Oh, no,
fashion
thank
today.
you very much.
Excellent.
Thanks.
We may be seeing you a little bit
All
later.
right, yeah,
and you're welcome, America.
John, do you still bring that Cliff Bar when you come back?
Oh,
okay?
yeah, I got it.
We do a quick sniff before we.
I forgot, man. Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
the package
yeah.
has been ripped, and
It's
we
been
can
ripped
smell
now.
that peanut butter.
I mean, I feel like I'm gaining calories as we speak.
That, and with any luck, you are.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Talkin' Shop. I'm the host, creator of this damn thing, Anthony Crawford. And hey, all the imaginary people in the crowd, go ahead and give it up for Matt, working hard for you here at Mutiny Info Cafe, and Sexpot for letting us do this and doing all the technical stuff that, hey, I just don't know how to do. Appreciate that.
There's a lot of wires back there.
Yeah, man, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. That's why my main man Wally is here.
Hi, Wally.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate that, Wally, my main man, second in command here at Talkin' Shop. And for those that have never seen, we are live today. For those that have never seen this before or actually listened to the podcast, this is the most selfish thing I've ever created, and I can't believe people like it. This is literally, I just find the best people I can get my hands on in the comedy world to come and talk about how they do what they do, mainly because, hey, I wanted to steal ideas and thoughts from people. And my whole idea behind this is to one day pick the brain of Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. Until then, I get the best people that I really can get my hands on, and today is by no means an exception to the rule. I really have been looking forward to this show, and usually at the beginning of these, I drop a little bit of advice to whoever's listening, whoever's willing to accept it. This one mainly is because of our guest, and a lot of people, especially in North Carolina, where I'm from, I reached out to them, told them to please pay attention to this one. Because back home, a lot of people wait for Good Nights in Raleigh or the Comedy Zone franchise or Dead Crow in Wilmington to give them time, and that's all they do is try their best to get on those stages. When really, and do that, by all means, like here in Denver, Comedy Works and the Improv, they're amazing. Please, yeah, go check them out. Go to them. However, do not wait for them. Don't wait for them. Create your own opportunities, It's great to work for the clubs, but if you listen to anybody, any of the higher ups in any of the clubs, Deacon Gray here at Comedy Works. If you listen to him, he'll immediately say, "Yeah, please work on your acts on other stages." The Improv, they'll ask you, "Have you performed anywhere else?" Especially back in North Carolina, they'd always ask you, "Where do you perform? Where do you work?" And you can't just rely on the clubs to work you. You're basically spinning your wheels. You got to create your own opportunities. Create a mic. Create a showcase. Team up with people. Create something that way. Get groups together. Do something to better your chance of getting better. Like the mic I run now here, I think it's the 8th mic I've ran. And the showcases I run, I know I'm in the double digits now with them, but that was mainly because I was sick of driving an hour to go do mics and damn it, Emily. I was sick of driving an hour to go do mics, you know, and why would I do that when I could just create my own and get my mic time that way, you know, and especially back home in North Carolina, y'all really need to start doing that. Y'all have enough comics to where y'all can create so much stage time, you know, and because that's definitely what we're doing here in Denver, and my guests today have crushed it doing that in Fort Collins, you know, and it means something to me because I'm not gonna lie, when I went home, it sucked to like be like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna go do this show, and that is it. That is it. Okay, all right. Show starts at 7. Sweet. Done at 8:30. Sweet. Done? Oh, like really done. Damn. You know, we're here. I'm used to like, oh, sweet. 7 o'clock show. Done at 8:30. I can still hit 2 mics.
Yeah, right.
You know, and the only way, everyone knows this, the only way you can get better is to get on stage more. And you got to have the stage time, man. The only way to get it is to create it, you know, because the clubs aren't going to give you that much chance until you're the guy or the girl. You know, they're just not going to. They're going to make you work your way up, which they should. And I don't know, if you're cool just doing like 2 minutes somewhere once a week, fine. I mean, don't get mad at not getting booked, you know. But these guys that I'm about to introduce right now, they created, and they was like, well, if y'all aren't gonna book us, we'll book ourselves. And now they're straight up getting booked. You know what I mean? Like straight up, you know. And it's something I want people to really think about. Create your own destiny, man. Create your own opportunities. All right. With that being said, I want to introduce my guests that I'm so happy to have on here because they have paid me a lot, kinda, over the day. Over months.
I'd say probably more than anybody else.
Yeah, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Can't wait to do your shows again.
Yeah.
But I genuinely love these guys, not just because they paid me several times, but because they're actually really, really good guys, man. The Fort Comedy crew. Give it up for Kyle Pogue, Mallory Wallace, and fucking David Rodriguez. I love these guys. They are literally clapping for themselves because they are awesome like that.
I was clapping for Emily.
Yeah, well, Em is just a treat.
I was clapping
Sure.
for us, but I got sad that I was clapping for ourselves, and then I stopped.
I was
man.
only clapping for me, not you guys.
We're clapping for the internet right now.
Hey, internet.
Yeah.
Now I genuinely love you guys, man. Y'all are newer comics that took your own destiny in your hands and are crushing it. You know, I couldn't be happier with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
How did y'all like form? What made y'all decide to come together?
Well, it probably started with Kyle starting the boot. He was like 4 or 5 months in, and I was a couple months ahead of him. And he started the show because we didn't have any shows in Fort Collins. He went out and, like, 4 or 5 months in, he was just like, there's no shows. I want a show. I'm just going to do it. He found a badass venue. And I was like, hey, you need a headliner. Sam Talon had just posted. He's like, hey, I need to work out some new time. I was like, you should fucking book this guy. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And then so he did, and Sam crushed, of course.
Like he does.
Like he does.
Still one of my top 5 sets that I've witnessed was Sam that night.
Yeah, we put the show together. We packed the whole house. Sam came up there to do new material, and he saw that. He's like, hey, what you guys have put together here is awesome. Like, I'm going to do good. I'm not going to dick around. And yeah, he punished him for like over an hour.
Yeah, he went an hour 20 that night.
Yeah,
it was great. It was really great.
And and then after right after that,
announced the show too. I mean, that announced the boot. That was a stamp.
Right after that, Kyle was like, "Hey, do you want to help me book this?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I do. Absolutely, this is great." And then after a couple months of running it, Mallory was like, "Hey, you guys need help with social media and all this stuff. Like, I can do that. I want in on this." And we're like, "Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it." And then
I think I just came to a couple and I was like, this should be full. These are amazing. Like, they were bringing up really great comics.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I just know how to do it already because I've done some some marketing and stuff, and also I like these guys, and I was like, all right, cool, let's work together. I want to be part of this. I want more comedy in Fort Collins.
She was seriously just like, hey, I want to be a part of this. And we're like, okay.
I don't know if I even asked. I just
yeah.
said I was like,
Yeah.
and now I'm part of this.
I
do
go
remember
here
you
now.
just started working there. Like that was it. It was like it was great. So I want to one amendment though to that story. There was Pateros and Crazy Carl. There was two shows going on.
Yep.
And
Crazy Carl's, I forgot about Crazy
Pateros is run by Jacob Erdman, who
Still
is
one of the best shows.
It's
Still
it's
in the state.
amazing.
I
for
actually
sure.
got to do that next week.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's been
Yeah,
so
so
good.
good.
So
Yeah.
good lately. But like he's like one of my closest friends. So even as a new comic, I knew for sure that I was going to get on that show, and I was still like, "Nah, it's not soon enough. Like we need like right now. We need a show. We need a show." And then but when I started, I only knew Fort Collins comics, and there was like 15 people, and I was like, oh man, this can go. I'm never gonna run out of talent. This is great. And then I quickly realized, like, thank God David already knew everybody down here, and it was just like, yeah, I'll help you with this. And I was like, that'd be cool. Yep.
Kyle's probably
So,
the one that the reason we hit the ground running as fast as we did is probably largely due to Kyle being like, there are no rules. I want to do this. Let's just do it. Like, if sometimes in larger scenes, if newer comics try to start something, like he'd be like, hey, don't get too big for your britches. Slow down. You haven't paid your dues, haven't earned this, whatever. He's like, nah, fuck that.
Which
doing
that
this
was
now.
and is the common rule of thumb that I heard from everybody. Like, don't even try to start something in your first year.
Yeah.
Every single person told all of us, you have to take money. You have to make money from your own shows. You have to. And right away, we were like, fuck that.
No.
We're giving all the money to comics.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
more we
Which
pay
we
the
still
comics,
do.
the more comics will want to be on our show,
We
which we
took
still do.
yeah.
We don't really, we really rarely make money.
I think we took a loss on every boot show for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I thank
gladly.
you guys.
Yeah, because that was important to us.
Yeah.
We were like, we kept pressing them for more money. We're like, it was important to us to like our first benchmark was like, we want to be able to pay headliners at least $100. Like that's important to us. It's important to us to pay every comic, not just drink tickets.
Pay
and,
every comic, even opening comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even drop-in spots. Give everybody money.
and we understand that that's not possible at every venue. Especially down here where it's so saturated, where there's not as much of a need in the venues. It's hard to get a bigger budget like that. But I mean, Sexpot came on board and they help us out. Help us pay
huge.
comics,
That's
which
huge.
is absolutely huge. And we valued the integrity of the show in that way above everything else, and that shone through, and people gained comics' attention and respect immediately,
Right.
and so more people wanted to do the show, so the show was more successful, from that point. And I remember it was like the second show, Kyle, we got an email from the owner of or the manager of the venue saying like, hey, my aunt is coming. She is kind of sensitive, so don't, make sure there's nothing like offensive. and we had like Dylan Ames booked on the show.
God.
We had a couple people booked on.
I was so lucky I got to go with my friend Dr. David Kenny and a group from the Denver Zoo to a polar bear site, the western Hudson Bay population. Polar bears are circumpolar, probably about 20,000 to 25,000 left worldwide, and they're amazing. Look at this guy. He's resting on a bed of decaying kelp. It's kind of a bed of seaweed, nature's Posturepedic. And so it's comfortable and it's warmer than just laying on the snow. And they make these kelp beds, and they're just waiting. They come down to the same beach for the last 200,000 years and wait for the ice to form. And they socialize and they compete. And they compete for females. And they're setting up this dominance hierarchy to figure out who's going to get to mate. The bigger males and the younger males are scuffling. And so while they wait for the ice, they socialize. The bears have gone through a walking hibernation all summer. They're awake, but they don't eat. Now remember, these bears don't hibernate in the winter. They hunt all winter long. And we found out that they go 4,200 miles walking over the ice looking for the seals. The ring seals are for this population, are the main prey that they eat. They'll eat berries and kelp and lemmings and things, but But their real thing are the seals and getting out to where the seals are. And so they need the ice to form big tongues of land-fast ice to get out to the pack ice to where the seals live. So you can see with these bears scuffling, it's kind of a ritualized thing, but they still get hurt. And so they can still get pretty grumpy with each other. They're big animals, and they're only polar. Imagine if they were bipolar. So that they, the old males, they kind of yellow up. The bigger bear on your right is an older male. Young guy on the left, he's a young upstart, and so he's much whiter. They're amazing animals, the power, and look at that foot. Look at that foot. It acts like a snowshoe, and it distributes the weight. So they can walk across ice that we can't, just because of the dynamics of that and the incredible engineering behind that. Nature's hand in what it's done in producing such a wonderfully adapted animal to the Arctic. Look at their ears, tiny, so they don't lose any heat. Imagine a big flop basset-hound deer and how much heat it would lose. Small tails. They hardly lose any heat at all. And they do this grappling and do it till somebody's tired and finally kind of gives up. They can actually get hurt, but most of the time it's this play fighting, kind of this sham fighting, and they're just kind of testing each other so that they set up these dominance hierarchies so that animals don't have to get hurt. Incredible power of these guys. Finally he runs off the younger bear. The moms, great moms. The babies stay with the mom for 2 years. And when they're born, they only weigh 1 pound. A young male coming up with those big long legs that just break through into the ice caverns where the seals have to come out to sleep at night, and the bears are there. Coming across the kelp. There he is. He's making a nice daybed for himself. And it's a waiting game. Waiting for the ice to form. And they have not eaten since the winter before. The ice forming later and later, it's been hard on them, and that's the problem. Also, their reproductive cycle, 2 years for to stay with the mom, and then to have another one another year. So 3 years before she produces another cub, a pretty slow reproductive rate. Big young male, good moms. They stay with them and protect them, and a baby sleeping on the mom. Who doesn't want to sleep on a bearskin rug?
This is a Sexpot Comedy production.